Hello, everyone. This is Randy here. And today I'm going to talk about how it's important to move and slide from different layers of reality. Now, to understand what I'm talking about in terms of the layers of reality, I've defined different layers as being primary, secondary, and tertiary. And of course, quaternary, which doesn't currently exist, but it's a theoretical layer that will exist very soon. So for background information, you may want to watch my video on layers of reality to just understand the vocabulary that I'm using. That being said, let's just jump right into it. It's actually really important, especially in our modern day, to move between different layers of reality. Especially because most of us spend way too much time in the tertiary layer, that is the digital layer of reality, of internet and apps and devices and video games and streaming. So it's important to move back and forth. The moment we wake up on any given day, we are in primary reality, right? We have our body, we have what we can feel in our body, we have the sensations of body and mind and emotions and spirit. So this is all the hardware that we came with. So the moment we wake up, we're in primary reality, but we often immediately then go directly into tertiary reality, right? We open up our devices, we go on the internet. So there's not a lot of break between primary and tertiary, and we almost entirely skip secondary reality. So my first piece of advice is to, when you wake up, to spend some time in primary reality. That is to say, to actually spend some time with your body, with your mind, with your emotions. Just maybe lie in bed just for 5 minutes, right? Just to introduce yourself to the day, right? When you wake up. I don't think going to a device or going on the internet is the best thing to do first thing in the morning. But yeah, spend some time with your body in primary reality. And then obviously if you need to go to work, for example, I work from home for most of the time, then obviously you need to access your devices and communicate with the world, and you will have to do that at some point. But give yourself a little bit of time to do so. I honestly think a walk in the morning, a little bit of light exercise, is probably a good way to start the day. If you have family, maybe having some interactions with your family, or if you have pets, perhaps some interaction with your pets. I have, I share two lovely cats with my girlfriend, and sometimes in the morning having some interactive relationship with the cats is really quite special. In terms of the end of the day, which is the opposite, a lot of people end their day in tertiary reality, right? Through again, apps, internet devices, streaming, videos, video games, these types of tools. So it may be helpful just in terms of your sleep, and also in terms of winding down the day, to remove yourself from tertiary reality at a certain point. I've noticed that the tertiary reality forms of entertainment are sort of overtaking secondary reality forms of entertainment. So secondary reality forms of entertainment or communication would be something like books, right? Books would be a product of secondary reality. A lot of people are not reading anymore before they go to bed. They're on their devices, they're on the internet, on their apps, that type of entertainment. They're not accessing a hardcover book. So Uh, if we were to go back 30 years ago, a lot of people, it's very common for people to end their day with a book or reading. So that's something that's been displaced. Uh, and back in the day, a lot of people had musical instruments in their homes, right? A piano was considered, a piano being another product of secondary reality, was considered very important for a lot of households as a source of entertainment, as a source of community, as a source of music, of course. So things like pianos are often now non-existent in homes. So these types of entertainment, if you would want to call them, or different devices that you would traditionally have used 50 years ago, 100 years ago, before going to bed. Radio, I would consider a transition technology between secondary and tertiary reality. Listening to the radio, I remember I used to listen to classical music on the radio before going to bed, and that would be very soothing. That would calm me down. So yeah, if you want to try replacing some of the tertiary reality portals with secondary reality portals before going to bed, I think that's actually a really good idea, because the problem with tertiary reality is it's a portal, right? There is no end to this portal. You can watch one video and follow it up by another video. You can play video games forever, or if you get bored, you can have a new video game. There are endless apps that you can access. If you're on social media, you can doom scroll until you get so incredibly tired that you just fall asleep. There's endless amount of entertainment and also junk in tertiary reality, because it's a portal. It's, as I said in my previous video, this is a portal to a different reality. It's not just a tool. So once you're in this portal is absolutely endless. It would take you your entire lifetime and many other lifetimes to read everything on social media, on the internet, and to access all of these entertainment products and media that's available. It takes several, probably hundreds of lifetimes, maybe even thousands of human lifetimes to actually absorb all of this material, because we have so much information overload. And so consider perhaps switching some of your consider switching some of your tertiary reality entertainment sources or going to bed routines with secondary reality, which would be books, radio, musical instruments. These are the things that I can think of. Writing. I mean, if you like writing, like journaling. Writing is something that you can do. Obviously, you have access to primary reality as well before you go to bed, right? Going for a walk in the woods, going for a walk down the street, meditation, stretching, light exercise. These are now primary reality elements that you can engage in prior to going to sleep. Sleep is actually really important. So you do want to have a good night's sleep. That's my advice, right? Before you wake up, or when you wake up, perhaps stay a bit more in primary reality before jumping into the other portals, and before you go to bed, maybe de-escalate from tertiary reality, because the screens are very stimulating for the mind, right? They're a bit unnatural, right? Right. If you think of traditionally what a movie would represent, a movie would represent sort of a falsified, staged version of theater, which would be grounded mostly in primary and secondary reality, right? People performing live for you, and that's then sort of staged and falsified and crystallized and sort of edited into a movie, which is a piece of transition technology between secondary to tertiary reality. So that's, but they're a bit more stimulating than something that is more grounded in primary or secondary, such as a stage performance, a live stage performance, and then you add on top of that something like Netflix or streaming service, where there's endless amounts of movies where you can choose when to watch them, right? So a movie in its traditional sense was something that you had to see at a movie theater, right? You had to go out with your friends and go to a particular place to see the movie. So that was still grounded in some level of secondary reality, right? That was still grounded on a social construct that involved community and people. And movies didn't play forever. At a certain point, you had to go home from the movie theater, and there was sort of an event associated with it in terms of going. And so it was an event. But the way that now movies have changed is that they're streamed, right, from your device, from your phone, from your app, from your desktop, your laptop. You can access them anytime. You can access a whole array of entertainment options. So that's why they're very stimulating, right? In the natural world, this type of entertainment doesn't quite exist in this manner, right? You can't in the natural world click your fingers and say, actors, perform this for me at any given time, and the exact performance that I want. You can't do that. Tertiary reality allows that type of command over this form of entertainment. And as a result, it is very stimulating. So this is to support my claim. You want to remove yourself to a certain extent from tertiary reality before going to bed, because screens and entertainment and this type of information can be very stimulating for the mind. It doesn't really calm the mind down. It actually stimulates it, makes it more awake. So this is why a lot of people have trouble falling asleep or not getting high quality of sleep, because they're spending too much time in tertiary reality, and your dopamine receptors are firing, right? You're sort of in a more heightened state rather than a more soothed out, relaxed state. So throughout the day, something that you should try is monitor how much time you spend in each level of reality, right? How much time are you spending in primary? How much time are you spending in secondary? And how much time are you spending in tertiary reality? If you're spending a lot more time in tertiary reality, and this is true for a lot of people. A lot of people spend half their days, 3/4, 75%, maybe even 80% of the day in tertiary reality of their waking hours. Imagine if you go to work and you're 8 hours on the computer, you go home 3 hours on the internet or watching something. That was our pandemic life, right? To an extent, when we were in lockdown. I remember working from home, 8 hours on my computer. Then there was nothing to do, so another 3 to 4 hours on Netflix, watching movies, and I would not leave the screen. That was pandemic lifestyle when we were in lockdown. And all of my life, 80%, 90% was spent in tertiary reality, and then the rest of the time I was just walking around, maybe feeding myself. So certainly that's not a healthy lifestyle. I mean, we did it out of necessity because of the pandemic, but I would doubt anyone believes that's actually a healthy, sustainable lifestyle. So that's an example of extreme amounts of access to tertiary reality. And it had negative effects on people. So again, to summarize, make sure that you're bouncing back between primary, secondary, and tertiary, sliding back and forth between these modes of reality, and be very conscious of where you are, what type of reality you are accessing at any given time. For example, I like to do these unplugs where I just unplug myself from tertiary reality altogether. It's actually very difficult and also very easy. You literally turn off your laptop, you turn off your phone, you turn it off. You just turn it off and you put it away. Now, by way of our addictive tendencies, we are motivated then from a behavioral standpoint to want to then access our laptops, our devices, our phones. But you just put it away. Now that's how you can unplug. So I challenge you to do that on a weekend or on a particular day where you just unplug for 24 hours. Like literally just don't use your device, don't respond to people's messages, don't go on social media, Instagram, Facebook, X, Twitter, YouTube, WhatsApp. All of these apps will still be there when you turn on your phone. Your text messaging is still going to be there. Your email is still going to be there. It's not going to disappear. But you will give yourself that space. It's very challenging because again, it's hard to unplug from the world in that way, and there's a lot of barriers. I've only been able to do it in certain times throughout the year. Other times it is very challenging. I admittedly believe it's a very challenging exercise, but I do highly recommend that several times in a year you should do full unplugs or mini unplugs. Mini being potentially 12 hours, right, between the hours of 9 o'clock when you go to bed to 9 o'clock in the morning. Your devices are turned off entirely, so you have no access to tertiary reality, and then your mind can recoup. Can be more naturalized that way, and then you're ready for the next day. But if you want to do a full unplug, then 24 hours. Some people do meditation retreats where they unplug for a lot longer, for a week, for a longer period of time, which is pretty awesome, I would say, if you're able to make that happen. But I would highly recommend practicing unplugging and also different forms of meditation if you're able to do so. Again, be aware of what level of reality you're in at any given time, and don't spend too much time in tertiary reality. It's we need it. I mean, obviously we need it for work, we need it to communicate, we need it for entertainment, but spending too much time in tertiary reality is actually not very good for the brain. That's what I have to say today. I'll probably make more videos of this type about different modes of reality and sliding back and forth, and my thoughts with respect to doing so. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Again, this is Randy I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will speak to you soon.